Hi, we're going to be installing a set of 3-point retractable seatbelts in the 1967 Dodge Power Wagon, and I thought I'd actually shoot video to show people just exactly how easy this is or how difficult this can be, and we'll get started. We're lucky enough to have eye bolts in a couple locations. This was originally started life as a fire truck in Pennsylvania for the Forestry Service. So we just went ahead and attached, using grade 5 hardware, the buckle ends, which we bought from one of the seatbelt companies that you can check out on our site, flyingtigertransport.com. Very nice quality, very period, and you can see how we went ahead and just bolted using the existing hardware they provided to us, which are very strong eye bolts. And they went ahead and, instead of mounting them, because the originals were very well mounted, went ahead and bolted those through. The second step in the process is to remove all the screws, which I did with all the trim, and just put those on the side. We'll be putting this back to get access to the channel. And there is, in a Dodge Power Wagon of this period, nothing much changed since 1948, a nice sized channel in here, right behind the frame. And I'll show you a close up of that in a moment. There's a nice sized bolt this up there, right? And as you can see, a bit of that channel, as we'll be bolting to. Piece of channel in there, which allows us to actually get a good mount, structural mount to the seat belt. So we went ahead and took all this off, and we're going to go ahead and provide the details on this. We're going to be using a back plate, which is really structurally required to give us enough integrity in case we are in an accident to absorb the shock. This is a back plate available from a number of distributors, and it does take the 7/16 inch shoulder bolt with a set of spacers for the door mounted portion of the belt. You can see how that has a bolt portion of a sleeve in there that's tapped for 7/16. So this is going to fit behind the channel, and I've never fitted this, so we're going to try this for the first time. It doesn't quite fit, so what I figured we were going to have to do is cut it down, and it feels to me like it doesn't have to be cut much. So we're going to take probably a 1/4 inch off and get that to slide down inside this track. So we want to put it just about there. We'll also want to put it back as far as we can, which is only about there. It's going to be about it. Almost centered with the assembly. So details, to make sure that we do meet our centering requirements, we want to be within, and that would give us about absolute dead center, which would be just fine. So we're going to go ahead and mark that so we know where to drill. It won't be any higher than that, and that's our point. We've already measured, so we know that the belt at this point, anywhere from this point, anywhere from about here all the way up, is an acceptable point. Actually, you can't see that. Anywhere from there up is an acceptable point for the mounting, because it will come across the shoulder at the correct height. We've already verified that. So we did a measurement. We determined that I've got to take just about that much off in the line to get us to slip into the channel, which should be negligible and should not reduce our holding capacity. Okay, we've gone ahead and cut down the backing plate, and I've cut it down. I'll put a safety wire on it, so when I'm messing around and dropping it in the channel here, it doesn't go all the way down the bottom and get stuck and unretrievable. I guarantee that it could easily happen. So what we've done, it's a pretty heavy duty piece of metal, so I've used the cutoff saw, and I've cut it on an angle. This is exactly where I need it here at the hole point. It gets a little thicker, so it's going to sit down in there and just stop it from going all the way down the channel. So let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and drill or mark the spot. It's a little bit higher than I anticipated, or higher and in, which is even better. We're going to go ahead. I went ahead and hit that with a center, and we're going to go ahead and drill it. Right. That's our pilot. Back that out of there. Okay, that's our pilot hole, and we're going to go ahead and see how well that guy lines up with the center of our backing plate. We'll make a little adjustment if necessary. Okay, we've done 4 steps, and that last one is just to take me up to the point where I can get to it with either a half, or in this case, I'm going to go a little bit over the clearance. First, before we do that, make sure this lines up. So I've stepped it. I've used 3-step drills to make it easier to keep it centered, and dead on center, dead on center. And we'll also be able to do our rivet, which we can do nicely. The final for this will be at 17/32, which gives me a good bit of clearance around these 2 pieces. We end up with a nice clearance point, because we do have a shoulder bolt in there, and I'd like to be able to not have any interference with the shoulder bolt. So I'm going to run it backwards first to clear anything out of the, make sure I'm setting correctly. And then I'm going to run in very slowly. Not high speed, but run in slow speed. Ease that. Turn that up to drill. Not quite. There you go. And looks good. Right on line. I want to be at 17/32, and check one more time to make sure that the plate lines up nicely, and it does. We've got excellent clearance in there. Won't have any interference with that bolt. A few burrs on there. We'll chase those out without. I think we're okay, actually. So next thing we'll do is fit up the plate with a rivet to hold that in place. Okay, we marked it for the rivet, which is just above the top of the other hole, and we're going to clean out that hole. It's about a 1/16 off for the rivet set, and I think we should be right on now for the rivet. Okay, that's the square up, and yes, we're perfect for the rivet. All right. Let's pop that in. Again, my recommendation not to skip this step, because if you skip this step, it makes it very difficult to set the plate safely without dropping it back down in the hole. So we're going ahead and riveting this in. Guarantee that plate doesn't go anywhere. Here we go. Okay. Capturing the pin so it doesn't end up in the tire. Of course, I've never done that. And now we'll go ahead and check one more time the bolt alignment, make sure we're going to be able to get in there. And with the two sets of spacers. Make sure we got good clearance in there, which we do. Plenty of clearance behind us, which we do. Let's make sure it goes down all the way. It does. And we are completed with our first plate. And I'll give you a close-up. Okay, the next phase that we're going into is the mounting of the retractor. Now we've got the backing plate all set up there to receive the shoulder bolt. Next step will be to lay out and to make sure we got clearances for the retractor. The belt on the retractor, the lap belt portion of that, or the piece that will go across or snap to the receiving buckle, actually mates to the back end of the assembly. Back in the assembly, this piece comes off, of course, from the retractor, so you can get in there and put the bolt on. And then it comes through with the, of course, the belt angling out so it doesn't cause any kind of constriction to the retractor. And of course, we've tested that. Retractors have to be absolutely square, that is flush and square to the body, if you will, not canted. They can't be mounted like that. They will not operate on an angle. They have to be square. They have to be square and in the 90-degree fashion, so the retractors will pull. Put it on, but they will lock in a inertial event. So the next thing we're going to do is check clearances here, and it looks to me clearances not only between here and the seat, and we've already verified the seat does clear this point, but we also have to make sure the door closes, so that'll be our next step. Put it in place, close the door. To start the process of setting the bottom piece, the retractor system, we've gone ahead and installed the upper retractor, the upper shoulder bolt, so we can go ahead and make sure that this is now directly in alignment. It has to be, again, square and go into the shoulder as square or straight as possible. You don't want too much of an angle going back to the shoulder, and the shoulder bolt, as I'll show you, does angle out slightly, so we have not too much of an offset. It's pretty square to the retractor, the receiver, which is exactly where we want it. And we think it's going to set back about there. Looks about right, gives us the right clearances, allows us to drill a hole in the seat base, so we can actually have to do that to be able to screw the bolt on and tighten it, I think, at this point. And additionally, we should be able to now have full compliance, pulling it over to the user, which we can, and go ahead and buckle that up. I'll show you details on how the buckles are to be installed. You'll see that detail. They have to be installed crosswise, and just holding it in place and testing the operation. It does work nicely. It flows through. It's easily retracted in normal wear. Moving forward, moving backward, but any kind of exertion immediately snaps it into place. So we know that mounting is going to be okay. We're acceptable there. The next point, we're going to leave that in place. Next point we have to check out is whether the door will close and cause any problems with the retractor. The retractor, where it's currently set, looks good. We're hoping we don't get any contact with the retractor body. Sliding the door into the retractor is probably not a great idea. So we'll try that now and see how we fare. It is tight. It does close. Looks like we definitely come up against that retractor. So we're going to have to make sure that retractor is backed in as far as possible. And in this case, as you can see, we do hit the retractor. We're going to have to go back about 1/4 inch. Okay, so we have marked the location using a similar, identical bracket that we're using. We're going to be using on the other side as well. We've actually marked that location. It keeps everything in the right at the right point. We're also going to need to cut back here on the seat base to accommodate the retractor mechanism. We'll move on to do that. To make sure that the retractor fit without any problems, what we went ahead and did is slit this with a skill saw, and I didn't want to actually remove the piece. I just wanted to bend it back, which I did just to get it out of the way. And we'll take off the sharp corners, and then this will actually mount back almost 1/4 inch further than we initially thought it would, which puts it nicely out of the range of any possible damage from the door. So now we have that done, we'll go ahead and start, put a pilot hole in there and get ourselves down and into the floor with a back pretty heavy duty washer, which also is supplied by the seatbelt vendor in a pretty nice kit, pretty hefty duty backup washer to make sure we don't deform the metal if we are in an accident. Let's hope that doesn't happen, but we want to be prepared and know that we have the best protection that we can possibly put in this other than an airbag. Okay, we've shot a pilot hole in our marked location where we can pretty confident that we've got a nice back set there. We won't hit it with the door. We're going to go through 3 steps. This doesn't need the same clearance the other one needs, it just needs a 7/16. Okay, 7/16, all set to mount the hardware. Okay, now we're open to 7/16 and all lined up. We've got clearances underneath. Of course, we verified that first. We've got a 7/16 inch bolt here with a locking washer inside. Notice the bolt doesn't quite fit because it hits the wrapped up webbing, so we're just going to pull the webbing out. Enough to get the bolt in. Bolt drops back in. Does not use the washer on top here. Let the webbing come back in. And that should fit in nicely. Everything clears well. There's no interference with any of the material. Pulls out nicely, pulls over the lap easily, nice and smoothly before we tighten anything down. Got that all done. Any activity, bingo. It's in good shape. Okay, we'll pull out slowly, no problem. Pull in slowly, pull out slowly. Bingo. Okay, we're ready to tighten it down. Next step is large fender washer underneath with a lock washer and a nut, all grade 5. We just finished the alignment of getting the 7/16 inch bolt down in there, and went ahead and was able to get that back nicely set back beyond the normal seat plinth, and I know the seat doesn't hit that, so we're in good shape there. And then we were able to easily, because the truck is so easy to work on, because you can almost walk under the truck, easily able to get the bolt in place up there, and actually could work on both ends at one time with 7/16 inch nut on there, and easily get it all cinched up. Now that the belt is now mounted, we can go ahead and close it up which is easy to do. It just snaps on under and snaps into place, and we're good to go and start on the next side. We'll just verify our clearances, and we should be on to completing the other side, which I will not walk you through. It's the identical of this side. So just to kind of recap, the biggest challenge on putting the seatbelt in the Power Wagon is in this model this year is just getting it in the alignment phase, making sure that you've got the shoulder bolt mounting plate aligned and don't drop it in there. And then of course noticing that in keeping with the FMVSS, the standard, seatbelts actually cross. The seatbelts in the on the belt, on the bench, actually cross each other. The passenger side as the driver's side mount actually serves the passenger. Well, that'll do it for the installation of the seatbelts 3-point retractable in the 1967 Dodge Power Wagon.